Hello, let's go over a quick overview of the editor. Um, so to start kind of over in this corner over here, there's a lot going on, definitely. You can see this is called the hierarchy, and this is where all of your game objects will go in the hierarchy. Currently, we only have one object in the hierarchy, and that is our main camera. And so you'll be adding all kinds of things inside here, like your spaceship, the asteroids, things like that. So essentially, this is where all of your game objects will line up in here. If we move over to the right, you can see this. There's a scene tab right here, and this is where you do all of your editing. So inside here, you'll have your game objects. You'll be moving them around, making them bigger, smaller, um, moving your camera around. There's all kinds of different things that are going to be happening in here. So this is sort of the area where you're going to edit everything, and this is called your scene right here. The asset store, you're already a little bit familiar with that because we've downloaded the Playground Unity Playground asset in the asset store right here. If I move over to the right, you can see right here is the inspector. And inside the inspector, you can see currently I'm clicked on my main camera, so it is showing up in my inspector. And this is where we add components. Components are, for example, right now we have the transform component, and I'll just go into my scene. And this would, for example, if I was to change this right here, I can move the position of the camera, the rotation of the camera, or the scale of the camera. So this is our transform component right here. This is just some information on background color and frame size, and then we can add all kinds of like different components, physics, tile maps, effects, everything gets added into the inspector right here. So this is a really important area, and we'll be talking a little bit more about this later. There is obviously you see lighting and there's services. You don't need to worry about these two other tabs right here. We won't be getting into those quite yet. Moving down to the bottom here, you can see here's another tab called Project, and here are all of our folders where we keep all of our stuff. For example, if I click on the Images folder and I click on, let's say, Backgrounds, you can see there's my backgrounds right there. And then if I want to go back to the root, I just click on Assets right here, and you can see on the side here it's organized in a bit of a different, it has the little icons for all of your folders. So this is your Projects folder, and we'll be working in here quite a bit. This is an important piece right here. This is your console. This is where you can look at errors that are happening in your program. And this is an area also we'll be looking at as we move through building our game. Up the last little piece right here is the game piece, and this is what it would look like if someone was to actually play your game. Currently, obviously, there's nothing going on it, so it's just blue. If you click on the main camera, you can see we've set the background color to blue. This is where you're going to kind of test out your game and work on it. Okay, we're going to leave everything like this for now, but just be aware that if you wanted to take a piece and move it somewhere else, you can grab a tab, like the game tab, and I could move it, and I can dock it. Let's say I wanted to dock it here. You can see it kind of appears along this tab, and I let go. Now my game tab is up here along with my scene and my asset store. Let's say I want to put the game tab and drag it over here. I could put it over here, and now my game tab's over here. So just be aware that you can move it around. If you don't attach it like a little tab like this, and you kind of just put it, see how it goes into like a gray box, that means it's a completely separate tab, and it's not attached to these other two tabs right here. But for now, we're just going to keep it down on the bottom, just keep everything easy. And there's kind of one more thing, well, two more things we want to look at. Up on the top right here, I'm just going to click on my scene again. You can see these components. They're tools. So for example, this is my move tool. So if I click on my move tool, you can see these little arrows pop up and I can move my camera. And actually, if you look over at the X right here, you'll see that the X axis is moving. So I'm just going to reset that and click on here and set it back to 0 again. The hand tool is obviously moving around. The rotation tool will rotate your object. For example, let's see. Yeah, you can see, look at the Z rotation right there. It's changing as I rotate it. I'm going to set that back to 0 again. This one will scale your tool, so it'll make things bigger and smaller. For example, I pull this. So you can't see it with the camera, but we'll just leave it back where it was at 1, 1. This tool is the rectangular tool, and then finally this tool does everything at the same time. So yeah, these are kind of your important tools across the top here. This button right here, if you click play on it, it will actually play your game, and then your game will appear down on the bottom, and we'll be talking about that soon. Okay, hopefully that was helpful, and we'll be getting into building in the next video.